Thank you so much, Jessica, and welcome to our guest today. And we thank you so much for your attention. We're just going to introduce ourselves to you and give you a little bit of background of our life pre-academia. So in my case, I was born into the hospitality industry. I am a fifth generation hotelier. I worked in the industry for over 30 years, primarily focusing on the large meetings and convention sector, working with a lot of the American and international companies and associations that brought meetings and conventions to Canada. And I have been at the college for 13 years. And as Jessica mentioned, I'm the program coordinator for our 2-year tourism management and business development program. My much better looking colleague to the right of the screen, Professor Oz, will now introduce himself. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Janet, thank you very much for that kind introduction. Oh my God. Thank you for setting the floor for me. My name is Osvaldo Avila. Everybody call me Oz. I'm born in Cuba. I've been in Canada for the last 20 years of my life. This is my country. This is the place that I love the most. I also am a chef by trade. So you're going to say, well, why chef is here? Well, I think the front of the house and bachelor's and operations is something like it we need to teach a lot. It's something like we are very good at Niagara College and we love numbers. So what I'm trying to convey is an experience for you to make decisions for the business. So how we cannot tie it only with the food or the drinks. Yes, those are important, but the most important thing is the experience. And I think your experience will start here at Niagara College. You're going to see that the team of the professor that we have here, they're going to give you all of the things that we have, all of the trick that we have from our hard experience. And you're going to see that when you finish, you're going to have a huge box of tools that is going to help you tremendously for a career, not for the job. You're going to have a career here. And moving forward, you're going to see that that person that is below me, that handsome person, that will be Professor John Rondinelli, very, very smart guy, very business-oriented guy. I've been learning so much from him with the numbers, and I'm going to pass the baton to him. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Chef Oz. I appreciate that introduction as well. So hi, everyone. My name is John Rondinelli, and I'm a professor in the Hospitality, Tourism, and Sport Department. And I am really excited to be joining you here today to talk to you about our program and to share with you some of the great things that we have to offer to you here at Niagara College. I've been a full-time instructor at the college for the last 2 years. And prior to that, I was a franchise owner in the Burger King system for 25 years. I bought my first restaurant right out of university. And during that time, I also had the opportunity to meet with and work with many franchisees throughout the United States and Canada by working as a Canadian representative with our financial advisory committee and marketing committees out of Miami, Florida. So as I said, I'm extremely excited to be here with you today, along with my colleagues, my fantastic colleagues, and we have a spectacular group of professors just to share with you some of the great things that we're doing. So thank you so much for showing an interest in our program in Niagara College. And I really hope that once we're done here, you'll be convinced that Niagara College is where you want to pursue your education. And I hope to see you on campus very soon and in the near future. And now I would like to introduce to you the wonderful and beautiful Professor Christina Inman, to talk to you a little bit about herself.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's very nice to have you here with us today. And thank you, John, for the introduction. Lots of compliments here. We do get along as a faculty, as you'll notice already. So my experience, like Chef Oz, Professor Osvaldo, I'm also in food and beverage, but I'm on the beverage side. So my background comes from 10 years in the winery industry here in Ontario, and I'm a sommelier, which is a very fancy French term for someone who tastes. So I'm in the beverage lab a lot. We're doing a lot of sensory analysis in the courses that I teach in both tourism and hospitality, which we'll explain to you this afternoon. And, you know, my experience is a lot in business as well. So I was in restaurant management at a winery, and then I was in the tourism management, retail management of a winery as well. And I've been at the college for 8 years now. And, you know, one of the things when you're looking at this stage in your life for education, you know, look for somewhere where you can really connect with the faculty. Through my years of education, I found that really something very special. And as you'll see, faculty here, it's a very close-knit group. We really connect with our students well, and we'll explain today a little bit more about some of the advantages that Niagara College has in terms of applied learning and things that offer for the hospitality industry and the tourism industry as well. So welcome. We look forward to take you through this presentation, and I'm going to hand it back to Professor Janet Jacobson now.
Thanks so much, Christina. So we'll move on to the next slide, please, Jessica. So I'm going to speak to you directly about the Tourism Management and Business Development 2-year program. And so we'll go to the next slide. So this program is unique in the sense that we offer a business element to our 2-year program, unlike any of the other programs that are available in the province of Ontario. And we specifically address a variety of areas featuring business development, attractions, operations, focusing on sales, convention services. And again, as mentioned, you're taught by industry experts. Every single one of the faculty that you will come in contact with over the course of your time at Niagara College are practitioners, meaning we have worked in the business, we are familiar with the industry, and we have the opportunity to help you connect with some of our colleagues who are still working in the industry. As Jessica mentioned, we have different types of intakes. So this year is the first year that we have developed an intake for January in tourism management business development. This particular intake will not participate in co-op, but you'll start in January and go right through to the following year. So you take your 4 semesters sequentially without a break. Alternative to that is the program listed on the bottom of the slide, which includes the co-op. So that is 4 months of practical training in service, paid, and you are helped very much in terms of finding a job with some of the senior companies within the tourism industry in Canada. And alternatively, if you select to work offshore, you can do that as well. So this gives you that practical hands-on experience. So when you come back in your second year, you're bringing your industry experience into the classroom. And I have to tell you, the faculty, we look so forward to seeing our students come back in the fall after they have been working, and because you bring back such a different perspective than perhaps you might have in your first year. So we'll move on to the next slide, please, Jessica. And at this point, I'll turn it over to Professor John.
I guess I better unmute myself there. So thank you very much, Professor Jacobson. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the hotel and restaurant program. And this too is a 2-year program. And it's actually a very exciting time to be entering into the hotel and restaurant business, because we all know the last several years have been a challenge and very difficult, with businesses having to shut down and limit operations during the pandemic. But now, as businesses begin to open up and demand for hotel and restaurant industry returns and continues to grow, there's going to be great opportunities to not only enter the industry, but to grow along with it, including opportunities for advancement into higher paying positions with additional responsibilities to match the knowledge and skills that you would acquire should you decide to choose Niagara College and the hotel and restaurant management program. And one of the greatest advantages of our program is that it allows you the opportunity to just develop skills that are very transferable to multiple facets of the industry, giving you really unlimited growth opportunities. So now let's take a look at and talk a little bit about the makeup of the program. So if we can go to the next slide now. Now, when we look at the hotel and restaurant operations program, we have 2 starts or 2 intakes every single year. So we have one in September and one in January. Now, our September start is a co-op stream. So it does provide you with the co-op opportunities and a chance to work in a job-related field throughout the summer break. But if you decide that the January start is best for you, there is no co-op opportunity, as you will transition directly from our spring semester right into the fall semester, joining up with our September intake from the previous year. But if you do have a chance to do that co-op work, as Professor Jacobson said, we love to hear back from you. We want to hear your stories when you come back onto campus, and we want to know about your experiences, and we want you to share those with us. So our program is a very dynamic 2-year program, as I mentioned, And it allows you that opportunity to gain knowledge and experience in all sorts of different areas of the hotel and restaurant industry. It just improves your opportunities and your value and your marketability as an employee to potential employers. So we try to touch on every part of the business to provide you with that little extra edge. So things like front office experience, food and beverage experience, tourism sales experience, convention service, and even a little bit of culinary. And Professor Jacobson mentioned as well, and to guide you along the way in your journey is a group of industry professionals with years of hotel and restaurant experience. We have an incredible team, a spectacular team here to help you along. And all of our professors are committed to providing you with a well-rounded education in an engaging learning environment and to guide you along the way. And all of us have worked firsthand in the industry for years, bringing our real life experiences into the classroom and sharing those experiences with you. Now, maybe we can move on to the next slide now, and let's take a look at the different sectors that are available in tourism. So as you can see outlined here on this slide, the tourism industry is identified as having 5 sectors. And if you look at the center of the slide, you'll find the term Applied Dreams, which represents the foundation of our vision and mission statement here at Niagara College, which is striving to achieve success through enriching lives and fulfilling dreams as an established leader in applied education. And opportunities to explore in tourism include, but are definitely not limited to what we see here. So transportation, food and beverage services, travel services, accommodation, recreation, and entertainment. And many of you may be familiar with some of these sectors, but not all of them. And another attractive feature of studying here at Niagara College is that you'll be studying in the heart of the Niagara hospitality industry, providing you with multiple job opportunities in each and every one of these sectors that we just spoke to, allowing you to gain incredible, valuable work experience in each of these really exciting areas of tourism and hospitality. So not only hotels, restaurants, and attractions in world famous Niagara Falls, but also world-class hotels and restaurants right here in Niagara-on-the-Lake, where we're located, and not to mention the amazing even wine industry and wineries throughout the Niagara area. And you have to ask yourself, like, where else can you go and enjoy all of this with all of these opportunities in the industry? And they're all within like 20 and 30 minutes of each other right here in Niagara. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to gain experience that you'll need to be successful in a hospitality career, and furthering and just having those opportunities to further and complement your education. So it really is amazing. And it is a fantastic opportunity. So now Professor Jacobson is going to share with you a little bit more about the industry around the world and also right here in Niagara.
Thank you, John. So we'll go to the next slide, please, Jessica. So I would like to address the business of tourism, because as Professor John said, we've taken a bit of a beating in this last go around with COVID, and it's been very much a public conversation about tourism. So you or your parents or your guardians, your family members that support you might question, why do you want to go into this industry? Well, in fact, it is a very significant industry, and it provides huge economic impact around the world. So studying with us at Niagara College provides you with the opportunity to study for programs that can be given opportunities anywhere that you want in the world. I'm not going to go through all of the points that are listed on these slides, but sufficient to say that it is very impactful. And one of the things that catches my attention is in the third column at the bottom, where it says 1 in 4 of all new net jobs were created over the last 4 or 5 years have come from tourism. We are an exploding industry that provides a huge economic impact to our economies. So we'll go over to the next slide now, please, Jessica. And in particular here in Canada, tourism is the 3rd largest employer of Canadians. That's ahead of manufacturing, education, and construction. So oftentimes people don't think about tourism as a business. They think about it as a job. It's not. It is an industry-wide generator of jobs and economic impact. And you'll see here even the contribution of travel and tourism to the GDP, or the gross domestic product. And you'll look at it in terms of what it does for employment. and what the visitor impact is here in Canada. So joining our college, taking in our studies, prepares you for a career in a huge industry that's available to you anywhere in the world. Next slide, please. So something I want to bring to your attention is there is an organization called Tourism HR. And in the hyperlink at the bottom, it takes you directly to that page. So you might want to make note of that and maybe have a look at that after the presentation, because this is an association that is particularly focused on the industry of creating jobs. And it's interesting for them to forecast that well over 2 million tourism jobs are going to be available by 2035. But of that, almost 250,000 will not have people to fulfill them. So that means that you coming out of college into an industry, you have an opportunity to progress very quickly, gaining a lot of great experience and moving your career along at a great speed. Also, as Professor John mentioned, studying at Niagara College puts you in the epicenter of the hospitality and tourism industry in our country. And something that we're going to look at now is the video, which is the hyperlink on the first hyperlink here. And what I want you to think about is that this video was prepared by the Niagara Economic Committee. This is the committee who is charged with bringing people's business to Niagara and having them establish business here. But what it does do is it really emphasizes the breadth and depth of the hospitality industry businesses that are here in the Niagara area that you will have access to. So we're going to play the video now, please. Thank you.
Home to one of the 7 wonders of the world, Niagara has long been one of Canada's most popular tourism destinations. But the falls are just the beginning. Niagara, Canada has evolved into a full 4-season destination with some of Canada's best wine, beer, food, attractions, and entertainment. Each year, Niagara attracts over 12 million visitors who spend close to $2 billion at the 2,500-plus tourism businesses that employ more than 36,000 people. Niagara, Canada's 98 performing arts centers, 96 wineries, 13 craft breweries, 200 hotels and motels, large convention centers, 650-plus restaurants, and Canada's largest casino draw crowds all year round. During the summer, Niagara offers 7 amusement parks, 40 golf courses, dozens of festivals, and stunning natural beauty. And when it comes to attracting major events, Niagara has been scoring some serious players, including the upcoming 2021 Canada Games. Investors like you are taking notice of what's happening in Niagara, Canada. Recently, the region has seen more than $300 million in tourism investments. To find out how your business fits into the equation, contact the Niagara Region Economic Development Team today.
Thank you, Jessica. We'll go back to the regular PowerPoint now. I will just comment on the fact that the video did mention that the Canada Games were coming in 2021. Well, in fact, due to COVID, they were delayed and they're coming in 2022. That will give you an excellent opportunity to capitalize on having such a great industry coming, a great event, coming here. And the legacy that is going to be left behind through the infrastructure of the buildings is only going to catapult us into being a much more attractive destination for sports tourism, which might also be of interest to some of you. So I think the video gave a good example of those 5 industry sectors that Professor John spoke of on the slide earlier. We'll now move on to the next slide, please. This just gives you a little bit of a picture of where the jobs are, looking at it from a province or territory area. So again, depending on where you're coming from or where you want to be, you will have an opportunity to work in a variety of elements within the industry and within geographically. Obviously, Ontario is the larger one with over close to 700,000 jobs available. And again, this comes from that association called Tourism HR. All right, we're going to move to the next slide, please. And then I'm just going to address the co-op. We have mentioned this both in the presentation on tourism management, business development program, as well as the hotel and restaurant operations program. But it really is an unprecedented opportunity for you to get out in industry, dip your toe in, try a few things, also get paid for it. And the recruiters that come to the campus are from a variety of our 5 sectors throughout Canada. And I know I can speak definitively that many, many, many years ago, I too was a hospitality and tourism student, and I went out on one of those co-ops for the summer. And I worked with a company at the time was called Canadian Pacific Hotels. It's now Fairmont Hotels. That experience changed my life. And in addition to the work experience and the opportunity to explore a province that I'd never been at, I also gained friendship for life. So many decades later, my roommates from that summer that I spent in Lake Louise, Alberta, are still some of my best friends today. As Professor John mentioned, there is this very large team of people that will help you. And in the lower right-hand box, they do talk about the team from our co-op office that know the industry, they know the recruiters, they know the companies, and they will help you get a good job in co-op. All right, we're going to move on to the next slide, please. The other thing I want to mention is that industry understands that the businesses might need some help in getting back on their feet. So most recently, Propel is a service that has been launched by Tourism HR, which is giving employers some financial resources to bring students and bring staff back into the industry. So again, I showcase this more to represent the fact that this is a global industry. It is an industry that comes together to identify and acknowledge the importance of tourism in our economic atmosphere and propelling us forward. So again, it's just a good example of the many elements that are out there to assist our industry and therefore assist you. Thank you. Go to the next slide. All right, and I think that's where I stop and turn it back over. Thank you.
Sorry, I'll take over. I didn't. Okay. Or is there a member of your team that was taking over for the slide? I apologize if I jumped on too quickly. Oh, you're muted.
There we go. One more time. My trigger fingers isn't as hard as I thought it was. So my apologies that maybe perhaps this was something I was to address. This is one more example of our integration with industry. We are a member of the Niagara Association of Hospitality and Human Resources Professionals. These are the people who work in all of the hospitality and tourism businesses that are responsible for hiring, training, staffing those entities. And they represent a variety of the 5 sector organizations, particularly in the Niagara region. But it's just an example of more of the collaboration that we have outside of the classroom walls, outside of Niagara College, and working with industry. Thank you. Take the next slide. And again, what basically we're talking about here is working with this association. It does give us front view of what's going on. They talk to us about the needs. We adjust our curriculum based on what industry tells us. And then we have that collaboration where they're wanting to hire our students. They want to come in and speak to our students in the classroom. They want to help us with assignments, with work integrated learning assignments, as we call it. So this is all to say that you have engaged faculty that work directly with industry to help you, the student, with your career aspirations. Thank you. We'll move to the next slide. All right, so I think at this point, we're going to turn it over to my colleague, Professor Oz, for the student journey. Thank you.
Yes, I'm taking from here. Thank you very much, Janet. Very important, and you hear over the presentation that we are in the great momentum into the hospitality. As you can see here, we have 5 very pillars that we talk about the School of Hospitality. And the first thing is the morning approach. And what we're talking about is how our students are going to merge in a career as soon as they're done in Niagara College. I think this is telling you also how our programs are, how innovative our program are, and how fun is going to be at Niagara College. When we're looking at the number 2, innovative program delivery, you're going to see with all of our classes, you're going to be hands-on. So you're going to have discussions about drinks. You're going to have discussions about coffee, about the impact of right now with the supply chain that we have to the COVID-19. Yes, some people, they've been saying that the hospitality industry is going to one of the rough path ever. I don't think so. I think that this is a great momentum to go to school, to go to a college that embrace changes, that embrace opportunity, and being in the right size of a school. Because as I mentioned, you are going to be in a classroom with Professor Christina Igman, looking about wine, looking about coffee. You're going to be in a class with Professor John Rananelli as well, and with me, and making discussions about a menu and how this is going to impact the operation. And more important, how you can have that argue with the chef, with the event planner, and you say, well, I have the tools. I have the tools because I'm being in this college that they provide me all of the tools to be able to talk to you and embrace in a career. Because the most important thing is you're going to be in a classroom with people from all over the planet. You're going to be with people from Toronto, with people from Niagara, people from India, people from China, people from Vietnam. And this, I think, is amazing, because when you are in that particular classroom with the right size, with the right tools, with the right professors that they've been working in the industry, professors that they have the right tools to talk to you and say, well, how are we going to move forward? This is going to have an amazing path to the future. And what are we trying to do here at Niagara College is not having a relationship with you for 1 year, 2 years, or 4 years if you're taking the bachelor. Our relationship starts with our students the day that you finish school. That day that you cross over, we shake your hand and we're giving that diploma to you, and you say, thank you for being here with us. Thank you for being part of your journey. The journey is going to be fun. The journey is going to have deadlines with assessments, with exam, but it's going to be fun. We're going to talk to the presentation how this is so important for you to look at the future, and when everything is open, how we're going to talk about Be Well Ready and different things. But the journey is going to be amazing, and I guarantee you that you are going to have an amazing to be successful. Okay. I'm going to pass to Professor John Rananelli, I believe so, and he can talk to the next slide, please.
I think I'm going to take this one.
Oh, I'm
if you
sorry,
don't mind.
Christina. My
That's
fault.
okay.
My
No,
fault.
no problem, Oz. This is something we do well together. So I'm going to speak to the classroom itself. And you know, the college really is set up in a way to make it as student friendly and as applied as possible. One of our slogans is applied dreams, right? So as you can see, but you know, the idea is, it's one thing to go and theoretically learn about hospitality or tourism and all of the industries that John mentioned earlier that are within that, from transportation to food and beverage. And so you certainly get the theoretical side through the lectures, but really what our college is all about is we want you to experience this. You know, I have young children and I could tell them all I want about how to ride a bike, but until they get on the bike and start trying, they're not going to fully know how to do it. And that's how we feel about this type of education, from the co-ops, but from the classroom itself. And so within the classroom, Chef Oz just mentioned, there is this diversity in the classroom. We're teaching students from all around the world, and the relationships you make, as Janet alluded to, you know, those relationships are so valuable. The classroom has a multitude of perspectives and experiences, and we welcome all of that into our classroom. For example, in beverage, I teach about tea and coffee and wine and beer, and I welcome students to explain what masala chai is if they're, you know, from India, and what their family's recipe is like. And then we talk about Moroccan mint from Morocco and all of these things, and it just further enhances our classroom. And so that's something that you experience here, and it really creates the diversity that we have. Another thing is class size, and this is something we feel is very important as well. You're often broken into smaller sizes than you would see in some other institutions and some other schools. I came from the University of Toronto, and let me tell you, I've been in classes with, you know, about 900 students, and it's very easy to feel like a number. You rarely get to know your professor. You don't know if, you know, they're reading your work or the TA is reading your work, and it has that sense of disconnect, unfortunately. And what we love about our college is these smaller class sizes. You get to know your professor, you get to work in groups with your classmates, you get to really have these one-on-one conversations and really dive into some projects with a lot of detail and resources. So that's something we pride ourselves on. And it's also how we're able to do these tasting labs, for example, with Chef Oz in the kitchen, and you're learning, how these kitchen operations work right in the kitchen itself with a professional chef and professor teaching you all of that. So that leads us really to these industry professionals. We've been alluding to this so far already. We are faculty who've lived this industry. We've all worked in it. We've also followed our path of academia. So we can really speak to this. The other thing is about us as professors is we really stay current. We're constantly learning and upping our academic credentials. I just finished a program to be a French wine scholar. So all of us are very curious about our own teachables, as we say, are part of this industry, and we're really involved in staying current. That being said, another great side of having industry professionals, not only as your teachers, but our partners. So we partner with local restaurants for certain projects, for example, where you'll get to interview a chef and understand their needs and try and solve that. Or we have field trips, which we'll speak to shortly, and other opportunities where you can really get in touch with industry professionals in the region of Niagara, and even further beyond the Niagara region itself. If we could move to the next slide, please. This is a video that gives you an example.
It's martini time.
Thank you. There I am again. When we did online last year, all of the sensory labs that I would have done in person were online. And so myself and Chef Oz and many professors were able to create this experience online. And so this is just an example of something that you would do in class. This is one that we had for the online students, but you'll have to watch this and imagine that this would be in a classroom and you would be learning how to shake, you would be learning how to measure, and you would be doing all of this yourself as a student. Thanks a lot, Jessica.
It's martini time. I'm going to teach you how to make a martini that is a little more Canadian, a little more Niagara based. And really you just need two ingredients for this one. You need vodka and you need ice wine, Canadian real ice wine. And you're going to use equal parts of these. Now, I have Grey Goose as a brand. This is a premium brand of vodka. And the reason I chose Grey Goose is because in a martini, you really are sipping a lot of the flavor of vodka. Because there's only one other ingredient, I'm not masking the flavor of vodka with juices or different wild garnishes or anything like that. So I want to taste the good vodka. So I'm using good vodka for that reason, okay? When you're making a drink, you want to chill your glass first. I'm using the martini glass. This is a glass designed for this cocktail specifically. As you'll see, I'm going to chill things so it's served at the perfect temperature. And so there's a stem to this glass so I don't warm up the drink by holding it. That's one of the purposes of a martini glass. Also, martinis are never served on ice. There's never ice cubes floating in here. So I'm going to chill the glass prior to making the cocktail. So when I do pour in that drink without ice, it's able to stay colder for longer. Okay, so I'm going to chill the glass now. As my glass is chilling, I'm going to start to make the cocktail. You need a shaker to make this type of martini. You learned about a shaker in class and why it's used. I'm not using it for the historical reason to emulsify what's in there. I'm using it for a quick way to chill this cocktail down and to give it a little bit of a different texture. I mentioned you need equal parts. That's about 1.5 ounces of each product, because a martini by standard is about a 3-ounce drink, and a martini, the original martini, has no juice, no mixers in it. A lot of modern martinis like the Cosmopolitan have some juice in there, but a real martini is pure alcohol. So that's what we're going to do. Very conveniently, these little bottles that are sold are 50 milliliters, which is about 1.5 ounces of alcohol. So that's exactly what I'm going to be putting into this shaker now. So the shaker has a lid right? It also has these perforated holes, so that's gonna help me pour the drink and keep the solid matter inside. In this case, the solid matter is ice. So I've got ice in there ready to go in order to chill down my drink very quickly, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna take the 1.5 ounces of my ice wine. Now, I'm not measuring it because I know these bottles are pre-measured, but in theory, I could use a shot glass to measure all of this out. I'm gonna add the Very Good vodka inside. So those are both in there. Put the lid part 1 on, put the lid part 2 on. I'm not gonna start shaking it yet. I wanna get rid of the ice in my glass at this point, so I'm just discarding it. I have a bowl here. Try to get out any water that's left in your glass. I wanna garnish it. I have some frozen grapes here that I froze, so they look a bit like olives, which are in the original martini, but they'll also serve to keep my glass cold, which will be really nice for this particular style of drink. So make sure your lid is on nice and tight, and you're gonna give it a really vigorous shake. It's nice and cold. I could hear the sound of the ice start to change as I was shaking, which means the ice is starting to soften. At this point, I don't want to dilute the drink if the ice is starting to soften. So now I want to pour it. I'm going to pour it directly over. And if you do have 3 ounces, it should fit your martini glass perfect, because a martini glass meant for a martini should be 3 ounces. So it fits perfectly. If you can see, it's got this kind of really cool, milky, almost slightly hazy color to it. That's from the emulsification when I really move things together. Again, I'm not changing anything from a syrup to a different texture, but I am frothing it up a little bit by using the shaker, and you can still see my little grapes in there. If you're trying this at home, you give it a smell. It smells like ice wine with, an increased amount of alcohol. Have a sip and enjoy your Canadian Niagara-based martini.
Thanks, Jessica. That's just one example of some things that you would do in class with us. We have a restaurant on site as well, Benchmark Restaurant, which gives students further experience into this world of food and beverage. So it's really fun to practice this. And we also have classrooms that are dedicated tasting labs, which is exactly where you'll be practicing all of this out. There is another video there. It's on Moroccan mint tea. It's very, very similar. But I don't know, Jessica, if we want to show just a middle portion, or we can skip it and add the link. It's very similar. It just shows you more an international look at tea from around the world. And I mentioned earlier masala chai. We look at China, Japan, and in this case, it was Morocco.
I can add the link if you'd like, or we can play it. It's okay.
Yeah. I'm fine if we just add the link. It's very similar. I'm just essentially instructing how to make this, and it was edited that way. But if you could add the link, that would be great if anyone's curious to see how that works.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea, Christina,
Yeah.
with the time crunch that we're
Yeah.
facing right now. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to speak a little bit about Be World Ready here, and I'll welcome Chef Oz as well to speak. And Joanne, I don't know if this is where you're going to jump in as well. So, keep in mind, with tied to this applied learning and really getting students to learn their field of study in such an applied way, well, tourism and hospitality for that matter, we want you to explore the world. We really support students when it comes to opportunities to study or have experiences internationally and nationally as well. So there's so many different opportunities here. There's a lot of support from the college as well in terms of grants that can help you subsidize your trip. And you know, some places that you can see here really do stem all over the world. I'll stop here. Chef Oz, if you want to jump in, and then perhaps Joanne as well.
Yeah, and I welcome everyone to jump over here because I know that Janet has been exposed to these trips as well. But from my experience, I went to Disney and I was in Peru as well. But the Disney trip changed my mind. It changed completely my mind because just imagine just going to Disney. I don't know if anyone here have that opportunity, but when you go to Disney, you are going to open the park. When you go to Disney, you're going to be in training. When you go to Disney, you're going to apply all of the things that you've been learning with us at the school, when we've been learning with us in our classes, practical and also in theoretical, but also having the opportunity to talk about experience and how the experience starts when you are leaving your house. And that is when everything starts for Disney. So imagine being in that opportunity. Going to Peru was amazing as well, because Peru is right now one of the best countries in the world for destination of food, and how they're taking so serious ingredients and how everything have a meaning in the plate, in the dishes. So I think that this is another opportunity, and we here at Niagara College, we take this very, very serious, and how this is going to apply. And you're going to come back to the classroom with so many ideas, with so many opportunities, and many of our students also, they had applied to Disney, and they even have interest in Disney. So I don't know if Joanna would jump over here or Janet, but I would love that anybody else would talk about this.
I think you've covered that very well, Professor Oz and Professor Christina. Thank you. So it is a wonderful opportunity to expand your global connection and your education in a real hands-on environment way. So we're all very excited to lead these teams of students around the world, and travel is coming back. So we have high expectations that this will be an opportunity for us going forward. Thank you so much. Perhaps we'll move on to the next slide now, please, Jessica.
Okay, I'm just getting my video back on there and I will take over now. So as Chef Oz mentioned on an earlier slide, there are pathways to further study here in our programs. And your journey doesn't have to just begin and end with whatever program you choose to take here at the college. So if you wish, you can graduate and go on with a work in industry if you choose, but there are other opportunities to further your education and enhance and upgrade your credentials, your skills, if you're interested in doing so. So Niagara College offers what we refer to as bridging opportunities. Now, our tourism management and hotel and restaurant programs offer very similar level 1 and level 2 courses. And what this allows students to do is graduate from one program and then pursue a second diploma in the other area in just one additional short year. So say, for example, you're a student in the hotel and restaurant diploma program, and you decide that you really enjoyed the program and you'd like to expand your skill set by gaining knowledge in the tourism industry and improving your marketability to employers. Because there are so many overlapping courses between these two programs, these level 1 and level 2 courses, that you would be in a position to bridge directly into year 2 of the tourism program after you complete the hotel and restaurant management program, and then graduate with 2 diplomas in 3 years. I mean, how great is that, right? So you walk away with much more knowledge and marketability when it comes to looking for a position. Now, another great opportunity that many students take advantage of after the 2-year hotel and restaurant program is the opportunity to bridge directly into year 3 of our BBAH, or our Bachelor of Business and Applied Hospitality degree program, and graduate with the degree in 2 additional years. So as long as your overall average is 70% or higher in the diploma program when you graduate, you would be eligible to apply for this. Now, if you do apply and you are accepted in the program, you will be required to complete 3 bridge courses in the spring after you graduate from the diploma program, and then you would move directly into year 3 of the BBAH program and the degree program. So your 2-year diploma can lead to a 4-year degree, just with an extra 2 years at the end of your diploma program. Now, there are also other diplomas available within our schools. So we have students enter into our postgraduate program in hospitality, or some have even moved into our culinary programs. So there are other diploma programs and pathways that may be of interest to you as well. Now, we should also point out that there are other institutions that Niagara College has developed relationships with. And some students over the years, after completing the Niagara College diploma, may be looking for international experience and decide to pursue further education at Griffith University in Australia, which is pretty cool. We've also had several students complete the degree at Niagara and then transfer into the Cork Institute of Tech with advanced standing from our programs. And finally, this goes hand in hand with what we just talked about on the previous slide too. Another really exciting opportunity exists with the University of Florida and Disney that's open to our degree students. Now, I'm going to talk about this because you do have that option of maybe getting into the degree program. So if you decide to bridge into our degree program and you graduate, you can apply for the Disney exchange opportunity, during which time you'll take courses at the University of Florida to complement your Disney exchange experience. So that's a really, really valuable experience, and you're going to definitely pick up a lot of great things through a program like that, and that is available. So you can see that many opportunities exist for you to further your education if you wish to beyond your initial diploma program and increase your value to prospective employers that go beyond your initial diploma, right? And so now let's take a look at the kind of jobs that might be available to you from our two programs. So if we can go on to the next slide. Now, once you complete your tourism and management education, there are many different job opportunities which you may pursue and would be qualified for. And I want to really emphasize the fact that the skills and the education that you receive through our programs are easily transferable. It's a very well-rounded approach to the industry and specific positions and programs. So the knowledge that you acquire, you can take with you and apply what you've learned from one position to the next, making you that much more marketable to employers out there. So positions such as convention coordinator that you see, customer service director, hospitality sales reps, outdoor guides, attractions, operations director, and many more. I also want to reinforce another earlier point in the fact that all of these opportunities exist right here in the Niagara area for you to apply to once you complete your education and program for the hotel and restaurant business. If you choose to stay here, that's great. So there are opportunities. If you want to move on, you have those opportunities also as well. And if we can go take a peek at the next slide here, we're just going to take a look at the hospitality and hotel and restaurant operations and opportunities. And the very same opportunities exist within the hotel and restaurant community here in Niagara Falls. So food and beverage management, group sales, hospitality sales, hotel and restaurant accounting, front office reception, housekeeping supervision, and many other management job opportunities and positions. And remember, your skills are transferable, making you that much more valuable to an employer. And we saw a video a little bit earlier. You saw everything that we have to offer here. And right now, I think the numbers are, we have over 370 hotels in Niagara Falls and the surrounding area with over 14,000 rooms. We have a casino, many hundreds of restaurants ranging from QSR to casual dining or fine dining. And all of that is just here in the Niagara area. And we know many graduates move on to other parts of Canada and other parts of the world to gain international experience, leading to the question, Chef Oz, what have some of our graduates done and where are they now?
Thank you very much, John. This is just a quick example of where the people are right now. So, and like I mentioned before, you are not going to get a job. You are going to carve your own career. You are going to move forward to a career. I know very well, Andrea, I love to go to the KEG. I have the opportunity to train with them at the national level. And it's an amazing company. It's an amazing company to work. So we are going to do a field trip to the KEG in St. Catharines. We are going to see why this steakhouse is so successful. We are going to see what is the daily operation for Andrea and how did she start when she opened the KEG in the morning, at what time she closed, and the daily challenge that any general manager we're going to get. Something else that we're going to see here, and this is I love the most, it is how the hospitality industry is changing so much. When you see over here, you see Allison, Andrea, Veronica, and Celeste. All of them, they were students that I worked in the classroom, and you're going to see how the the women is getting into the workforce right now, and they've been going to side to side to all of this job with a very male predominant industry, and how everything is changing. Why changing? Because once again, we're going back to the classroom. We're going back about the diversity. We're going back about the role of Niagara College being in part of your education. This is just one example. We have students right now in Hawaii managing hotels, to the Fairmont Hotel as well. And this is, once again, it's a great opportunity to meet them, to say, ask them questions, to talk to them about why they still doing every single Saturday night this job, why they love so much. It's because about creating an experience. It's creating an experience with everyone there in the opportunity. So I think I'm going to pass right now to Professor. I think it's Christina is talking right now. Slide 30.
Okay, so, this is just another example of just testimonials. And really, this is, as was alluded to earlier, we see these in publications and marketing, but we also as professors receive emails from our graduates with testimonials on how they're doing and how valuable their education was. I won't read through all of these for you, but you can really get a sense that sense of value, that sense of pride from being a Niagara College graduate continues well after graduation, finding jobs in the industry, having those skill set to move forward and to really rise quickly through the ranks because they're so prepared. They've been applying their skills while in school anyway. And so we see a lot of things like that. And we have a strong tie with our alumni, with our graduates. And, we're really, really proud of those things.
Yes, and I would like to mention in the next slide that we also going to see that in different wineries and also in different part of the Niagara region, we are going to see other graduates as well. Like they're going to do an amazing opportunity too. So if you're looking at wineries, if you're looking at breweries, you're going to see that we have our students already in that position or supervisor of a managerial level, and you're going to ask them and talk to them and how this is going to merge for an amazing opportunity for you. And we can go to the next slide. Yeah.
Okay, so Jessica, I'm just going to jump in here because I know we're watching the time very closely, but I would like to address one of the questions that was raised in the chat, if I might, if I may.
Absolutely. I want to take 5 minutes anyway to get these answered for you.
Okay, so we've got time. Okay, because I thought we had a hard stop at 1:30. Mary, I'm going to address your question. Mary's asked, planning on pursuing this industry as a mature student in September 2022. Are there any reading materials, resources, or research you recommend to better educate and prepare myself in the meantime? Well, we love that. We love the fact that you're thinking ahead and you're being very proactive. And let me assure you that the industry associations are an excellent way to address that for you. If you look for Destination Canada, if you look at this Tourism HR, which was the link we put in earlier, that will give you some great background. If you look at the Tourism Industry Association of Canada, all of these industry associations are a wealth of knowledge and can give you some really good material. Additionally, we are here too. We're here to talk to you in advance of making these decisions, to give you some guidance. We're happy to set up one-on-one with you. And please be assured that these two programs are very attractive to mature students. And you bring a great wealth of experience into the classroom that you'll be able to share with the students, and we all benefit from that. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for an excellent question.
And if you don't mind, I'd like to address even the first question there. Is that okay, Jessica?
Absolutely,
Okay.
go ahead.
So Harry, the question was, if I start class in January next year, that means we'll have no breaks like summer breaks and all of that. So technically that's true. So if you do start with the January intake, you'll immediately move into our spring semester once you finish the winter semester, which is that January start. And then the spring semester ends around the middle of August. So you have probably about a 2.5 week break there before you will join up with the cohort that began in the previous September. So if you start in January, you will go through immediately from our January or our winter semester right into our spring semester. You'll have maybe a 2-week break in there before we'll get started with the fall semester. So it will be pretty quick, and it'll just allow you a little bit of a short break in there. And further to Aaron's question there and what Professor Jacobson said, absolutely. You're going to come to the classroom with a wealth of your own experience. Bring it with you. Share it with everyone that's in the classroom. We want to know about your experiences. And Professor Inman mentioned earlier as well, I mean, we want to get to know you. So we want you to definitely share those experiences with us, because we do have great sized classrooms and they're very small groups. That gives us the opportunity to have these discussions with you one-on-one, get to know you. And even in our group settings in the classrooms, we want you to share all of those experiences, and those associations are 100% the best way to get some real current information of what's happening in the industries. And it'll give you just a better idea of what to expect once we do begin. Okay, so thanks.
Perfect. And then in terms, oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, Jessica. I was just going to address Aaron's question just as an international student, but I can't see it anymore, but I will based on memory. So Aaron, I saw that you were asking about another program. So you're taking hospitality and tourism management. So if you want to take a second postgraduate certificate, then I would probably recommend maybe international business management, human resource management, or even beverage business management, depending on what your interests are and what your goals are. And as an international student, if you take a second postgraduate certificate, then you do get a $2,000 scholarship off that. And you asked about the postgraduate work permit. So if you study for 1 year, you're eligible for a 1-year postgraduate work permit. And if you study for 2 years or more, you're eligible for a 3-year postgraduate work permit. So we have a lot of international students that will come and take 2 graduate certificates back to back.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I think that's the last question we're going to take for this session, as we did run a couple minutes past, but that's okay. It was a jam-packed session full of lots of great information. Thank you all to our attendees for joining us for our open house. You may have another session to go run off to. If not, feel free to rewatch this one once it goes up online. Do virtual tours, but thank you all so much for all of our panelists, our esteemed faculty. You all have been very wonderful and helpful, and I can't imagine just how informational this has been for our attendees. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for your assistance, Jessica. Thank you, team.
Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone that was involved today. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Have a great rest of the open house. Have a great weekend. Bye.